We are back in the lower floors with our boy Belle Crenell and Ryu. Well, most of her. She's still kind of all there. She's a little effed up though. Yo, what a freaking comeback and return this episode of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? We're just going to call it DanMachi because it makes it so much easier. But like, wow, what an incredible episode. Like, the Sakuga is next effing level. And for anybody who doesn't know, like, I've read this in the comments a couple of times. Anytime that I refer to Sakuga, I'm referring to basically like the really high production value fight scenes that end up happening. They refer to that as Sakuga as basically like, okay, they're gonna put like if they had $100 to make an episode, $98 would go into those scenes and the $2 would go to everything else. So the Sakuga in this episode is just absolutely incredible. Not only did we have the fight with, like, you know, Lily and Aisha and the gang with the two-headed dragon with the floor boss, which was just, oh my god, effing incredible. But then we had, you know, Belle and Ryu being kind of like chased around everywhere as well, kind of picking up where we left off last season. So we had these two different interconnecting things. Now, 75% or maybe even a little bit more of the episode was really focused around like Lily and the party kind of like trying to overcome this like floor boss that shouldn't have appeared. But, you know, there was a little bit of that as well. So some of the things I wanted to point out, you know, first off, Cassandra's my favorite character in the anime. She's best girl. I don't care what anybody says. Like, that's my girl right there. But some of the things that she said was just incredibly tragic, right? So she said, you know, this is the embodiment of ruin. This is the banquet of tragedy. This is the cage of despair. And I was like, oh my god. Like, this is just really driving in, like, how desperate and how vital and how bleak things are, which is just absolutely incredible. But let me take you through the episode real quick. So essentially, we pick up where we got left off on I want to say last week, just out of pure habit, but we got where we left off last part, which is part 1, which was the season before last, which I think was fall. I think is when it was which was fall, and we're back right in the driver's seat with Belle. And we have Ryu and them kind of like running away, and Belle's being overcome by despair. We know that they're in like the White Palace area, like the area that you shouldn't be in. We see Urano's talking to I forgot what his name is, skeleton dude. And you know, they're talking about like, you know, how this happened. This is impossible. Blah 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 blah. One thing I wanted to point out here is every time we've seen Urano's, he's always just sitting in his chair. So I'm like, is this? I had a funny moment. I was like, I said to myself, like, yo, is Aranos just in his chair 24/7? Like, bro, he's just like, yo, I'm the chair god. Like, he's just in his chair almost all the time. You know, then we cut to a scene where we see, you know, incredible scene again where we see, you know, Belle kind of contemplating on next steps and what he can do. He's freaking out. He's falling into despair. He's looking at Ryu. She's completely just torn up and just, you know, passed out. He talks to us, the viewer, about, you know, how the Goliath scarf basically like, saved his ass, saved his bacon. His bones are barely even held together. He broke most of them. You know, he's like, if we get caught up again, things are going to go south, which in the episode, it does end up happening. They do get caught up again. And we never really cut back to that scene. Then we talk about the Cage of Despair, which is referencing, you know, the two-headed dragon, which is the floor boss. Which Aisha, you know, freaking Aisha, what a monster! She's the leader of this. She was kind of like the star of this part here. Also, Wolf or whatever. You know, he also gave his, you know, really like high-arching speech as well. Basically, everybody kind of came together saying, "Hey, we can't just be so reliant on Belle. We can do ish ourselves." So I thought that was really cool. Lily finally stepped into her own once again. She kind of goes back and forth, but she stepped into her own once again about being the commander. Started kind of really delegating what everybody needs to be doing. Daphne basically whooped Cassandra's ass. She's like, yo, you gotta get into this fight. Cassandra began healing, and we basically set the stage. They were able to kind of use the gravity magic or he may use the gravity magic or whatever. and they were able to get in a good position to potentially overcome this boss, and that's kind of where we got left off on. And I think this was just a magnificent first comeback to the episode as well. Now, will Cassandra's kind of like predict? No, I don't call it prediction. Will her future? Her future that she saw, will that come to fruition? We don't quite know yet, right? But next episode is called The Morgue, or just called Morgue. So there's potential that at least one person may die in this situation. And then we have Bell and all the things that he's kind of been in so far. But I cannot wait to see the conclusion of what ends up happening on the lower floors. Like, this was an incredible comeback. This was an incredible episode. And I was on bated breath. I was at the edge of my seat. And I was just like, I kept saying, oh, ooh, ah. I kept having those dumbass moments, that you do when you see like really cool stuff happening. I was like, oh, like when Aisha was fighting, I was like, oh my god, get it! I love Aisha's like my second favorite. Like, I was like, get him, Aisha. You know what I mean? Like, so good. That's really all I have to say. Incredible return to the season. Incredible return to part 2. Can't wait to see this story come to conclusion. I've been waiting ever since part 1 ended to see like what's gonna happen with this whole situation. I can't wait to see next week. It's gonna be effing fire. But let me know what you guys thought about the return of DanMachi season 4 part 2 in the comments below. Let me know if it's hype. If you didn't like it, let me know. Let me know just what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.